Recording started.
Woo!
It is 11:35 Central Standard Time, 12:35 Eastern Standard Time.
I was about to be like, it is not 11:35.
I mean, look, two different time zones. We try to make it work.
It's happening.
Slowly but surely.
Midnight train to stardom.
I mean, look, it was moderately my fault. Because I definitely forgot to reach back out after I was eating this Popeyes, which was delicious.
I was like, wow.
They even gave me an extra sandwich for my weight.
What?
They gave me an extra spicy chicken sandwich because I had to wait a little longer because, you know, they were making fresh wings.
That is not how I interpreted that. I was like, did somebody see him? Was like, that's a big boy. He's
I mean, I can see that. Anywho, welcome to another episode of Big Letter, Little Letter Podcast with your host, Hedo.
And me, Jam.
And we would like to welcome you to episode 24 of our lovely little podcast. Before we actually talk about what we're going to talk about, let's go ahead and just get caught up with one another with our Kinkly Weekly. And yeah, how you doing, Jam?
I have been better, but I think I had a pretty good couple of weeks working. Did we talk about King's and Drink at the last episode?
I think we did talk about Kinks and Drinks.
Well, that was my last shebang, so I guess. I did just spend the past 2 weeks planning an event, though.
Working hard in your whole service bag in a different dimension.
No, truly, though. But I fully intend, I'm going to give it my all right now, because when I get there, I don't want anybody asking me questions.
I mean, the best trips are the ones where the host is barely needed.
That's good planning.
Yeah. And competent people that you bring around to fulfill said plans.
Isn't it true?
Can't wait. Go for it.
I want to hear about your weekend. Nothing I did matters. I've been waiting all this time for days to hear about your weekend.
I mean, the weekend was fun. Made just a lovely little trip to a city full of horrible drivers. Sorry to all my sorry to all the Philly listeners, but y'all know who y'all are. And we went to go celebrate a dear friend's birthday. This friend so happened to be the Fun Sexual, aka Majesty, aka Maj, aka A Fistful of Fun, aka the Play Party Princess.
Happy birthday!
Yes, her birthday is on the 21st. And her boo reached out to me back in July and was like, "Hey, I'm throwing a surprise play party for Maj and would like to have us up there." And we're like, "Yeah, bet, of course. Anything she's involved in, we're there." We've been to multiple Poconos trips for the Playcation weekend. We've been to the various play parties. It's a vibe. It's a good time. So we decided to go ahead and make the trip, make a little quick weekend of it. It was deemed, the theme was Dirty Disney.
I just love it.
And so, just pretty much keeping it our adult childish self. And so me and my anchor partner, we went as characters from Atlantis. So I was Milo. I kept calling him Milo because the way it's spelled is literally chocolate milk in Nigeria. We call it Milo.
You call it Milo?
Milo.
We're not going to discuss that. We're going to move past that.
I'm about to say, you Americans and y'all failure to understand English.
No.
Anywho, don't say no, the I before E, except after C group that actually has a whole...
We're not wrong podcast. Continue.
Fine. But yeah, we had various characters. We were also celebrating the birthday of Eli the Naked Trumpeter. They
Happy
were there with
birthday.
their partner, who also helped coordinate everything. And that cast and crew came. The theme was Dirty Disney, but they came as Powerpuff Girl characters.
That's hilarious.
So we got so we did have Bubbles, Blossom, Buttercup, and Bliss.
Mm,
Shout out to Bliss of Jersey.
nice. I've
Like, of
been
course,
seeing her around a lot lately, and I love it.
yep, she been doing her thing. Bliss came as Bliss, so that was just hilarious. We had the chief, the one that coordinated everything. That's Professor Utonium. We had Red Jack. Shout out to the DC Cuddle Club. She was Miss Bellum, Sarah Bellum.
Oh my God.
And Eli, the naked trumpeter, was him.
I need these pictures.
You'll never get them.
I need them. I'm gonna message Eli. I need them.
But yeah, it was like a good amount of us. Due to the traditional sense, you invite a lot of people. A lot of people say yes, and then all of a sudden, over half the people drop out.
Hmm.
But it was still a really good turnout, and it was a great time. I would say this event, there were it if there was like a scale on like swingy and kinky, I would lean it more on the swingy side of things than kinky.
Hmm. I
A
get that.
lot of things being slung and sucked, and yeah, a lot going on. But
I mean, she is the fun sexual.
but we also did have the villains room that hosted all like the St. Andrew's cross, the flogging bench, as well as multiple tools and implements that could be used on any given individual. But yeah, it was a fun time. I decided to go ahead and do the ceiling challenge there, like, because I've been wanting to do it. I
Uh huh.
just haven't been able to like get it orchestrated and done.
Been able to get it done.
Yep, and finally I was able to get it done.
Good
It
for you.
turned out really good.
It sure did.
And then yeah, there was just a lot going on. Met some cool people. Um, got invited out to join a group to hedonism in December of next year, so that'll be fun.
Hmm.
Got to use a Sibian and the sex machine, the little piston thing, on my anchor partner. So that was also fun to tease her with. Like, while she was the sex machine, I used my tentacle on there.
Oh gosh.
And so it was the tentacle doing the whole penetration thing, and then I grabbed the Hitachi for the vibration thing. Look, I'm a sadistic person when it comes to orgasm control, and that right there is just a fun time. The sibbing was also fun because you got to like tease with it. Like that motor had a Hemi in it, like it shook the floor with the way it was vibrating. Like a lot of things went on. There was a spin roasting session. I
Hmm.
saw this person get their soul sucked out of them back to back to back times.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a vibe. It was a good time.
A reminder to take your vitamins, friends.
Say what?
Take your vitamins.
Take my vitamins for what?
Ain't no way you getting your soul sucked out of you without taking your vitamins.
Are you talking about that person?
You'd have died.
I mean, that person is the person that got the soul sucked out of them over and over again. They're a yogi. They'll be fine.
I mean, yeah. Take care of yourself, friends.
But yeah, overall, it was a really good time. It was a very long day. I did not sleep from the time I woke up at 11 until about 3 p.m. the following day.
I cannot. Hence why we're recording on a Wednesday night.
It's Tuesday
Is it?
in Texas.
Sure.
But yes, it was a fun time. That's pretty much what I've been up to. And now I will be hibernating for 2 weeks before a different play party, which my birthday will fall on.
It's your birthday. I love birthdays.
So that'll be a very fun time.
It should be fun. I hope you have a really good time. Your birthday is the same day as my mom's. We're gonna go drink some sake.
Some sake.
Yep.
Well, I'm
It's
trying. I still haven't decided what to do with my birthday, but it'll be figured out at some point.
okay because you have plans for the weekend.
That is true. So yeah, overall, it should be a good time.
Yeah. I'm
All
excited.
right,
Hear
now
about that next time.
we'll
Next
talk.
time.
Yeah, we'll
That
talk about
involves
next week.
you.
Like wait, will I be here next week? Yeah, we'll do something next week. Heck, with all the Christmas festivities and whatnot.
Sure.
Okay, now so we can actually go forward and talk about the actual episode today.
Yes. Today's letter is S for scene.
Yes, we are doing S for scene.
It's a good one after last week's episode where we talked about play party. I feel like we've been leading up to this moment.
I mean, kind of, sort of. Like, we've touched multiple areas in regards to just how an etiquette of play party and who's involved and all these other various, honestly, like, parts of what all encompasses these things that we be talking about.
Right. Hedo, when he plans out our episodes, uses the five W's like a good little student. I feel like we've answered a lot of the W's leading up to this. So if you don't know what something is, you can definitely go check out an older episode to refresh.
I mean, more than happy to go ahead and go back and just take a look and peruse through all the various channels, episodes that we've had.
Well, first, then let's tell the people what is a scene.
All right, the easiest way to break down the scene is kind of like going back to the various episodes we talked about. So we've talked about things of vetting, negotiations, and aftercare. The
Mhm.
theme between negotiations and aftercare is the scene itself. It's um, it's the actions that are taken by the top and bottom in a given scenario from beginning to end. Everything encompassed in that window is a scene.
Yeah. I'm hearing verb. It's what you do.
It is an action that you take upon yourself.
Yes. All right. So the people involved in the scene are the top or dom and the bottom or sub, depending on dynamic, location, etc., which we'll get into a little bit. What else should they know about a scene?
Um, because it can also involve more than one individual.
Okay.
There are situations where you'll hear a term co-topping, or you'll have a situation where there'll be multiple bottoms
Yeah.
and one top, or it could just be a smorgasbord of people involved.
Yes. Like my fantasy of a little dom inception, where I'm on the bottom, getting topped by somebody who's getting topped by somebody, and frankly, it could just keep going.
But yeah, so sorry, got a little distracted over here.
Focus.
Yeah, I'll focus. Okay, but yes, that's essentially what it comes down to what a scene is. Now, again, we just talked about who is involved in the scene. Again, top, bottom, switches, master slave, dom
Mhm.
sub, rigger, rope buddy,
Yes.
um, tamer brat. Like, it just essentially there is kind of a power dynamic involved where you have one person that is enacting something on another person, or they're enacting something on one another, because a scene can also be, let's say, a wrestling moment. That could
Mhm.
be also be a scene where two individuals are wrestling.
Okay. So, flashback. Sorry. All right. So we know that scenes start with the conversation. The people involved, they have a conversation about like what they are consenting to. We're negotiating. We're looking at what tools are being used, where is this happening, how is this happening, um, and depending on the space. So I guess we should talk about like where scenes happen, which essentially is everywhere, but I feel like they look different depending on where they're happening.
Oh, very true. Especially because there is it's kind of, when it comes to the wear, you can have it very private to like just your own home in your bedroom, a la the restraints that you bought from Adam and Eve, or it can be just simple things as like a free use situation where you and your partner have that negotiated. So it can be as local as your home, or it could be as public as like a park or a dungeon or a sex club.
Yes, I forgot what I was gonna say. I
See, this
had a
is this is
question.
my fault. That's why, like, it's late night, so the mind's not as fresh.
Who keeps so little up this late?
I do.
It's at night. That's like slow torture.
I did say I was a bit of a sadist.
Have mercy. Anyway, when does the scene end?
A scene ends either on one point where it was negotiated as the, like, for example, the duration, you want it to be 10 minutes, you want it to be until you reach a certain point of climax. You like That's one way it can end, on the point of negotiation. On the other end, when a safe word is used. So when the safe word, it can be as basic as a stoplight system, which red, stop immediately, check in, figure out what's going on. Yellow, ease up, switch it up, or change the tempo. Green, perfect. You can even go a little more with it. So once you hear red, the scene ends. The scene is over. If someone has a safe word like smorgasbord, you hear smorgasbord. Guess what? Scene's over. Everything ends.
Mm.
You like the word smorgasbord?
um. Okay. I almost want like I'm so visual. I just pictured a million things. I'm like, you picture a scene the way they taught us to write an essay or a story in school. Like, there's a slow build up, there's a start, the negotiation, the consent, and then leading up to it, like you have to warm the body up of the person that you're seeing it, or like warm up the situation, and then you have like your key things, like the top toys you wanted to use, and that's like the very top, the exclamation of it, and then you kind of bring it back down again with like maybe rubbing and touching and talking, and just getting your breath back to normal, and then you come to the end, and it's like your aftercare. That's how I pictured it.
So I mean, it's not wrong. Like, again, it really does also comes down to how things are kind of just negotiated, because it actually hits on the part of like how a scene comes together.
Yeah. I mean, that would be, I mean, we have a minute. We could talk about it. Um, give us an example.
Okay, so the most baseline example would be in pickup play.
Hmm.
And pickup play, I believe we've talked about this before. It's kind of a quick, hey, I want a top, you want a bottom, hey, let's do this situation, where we negotiate in the immediate. There's normally not too much vetting done in this situation, but more times than not, the top involved is either trained or at least recognized by the host of an event. So they're typically available for said pickup play, where you do a quick negotiation of what a person wants to feel within the scene or what they want done to them within the scene. And then once negotiation is completed, that's how you go on into beginning the scene.
Okay, so
Now,
give us like a real detail.
huh?
So Hito's at a party, and somebody comes up to Hito who is topping at this party. What happens? Not frozen. Go. If somebody came up to you at a party
Uh huh.
that you were topping at,
Yeah.
how would you start?
All right. First, of course. All right. I can't go into too deep. You know me. I will go
Not too
extra
much
details.
detail.
Okay. Someone approaches me. First, I would ask them what do they want to feel out of this experience.
Okay.
Because the overall concept is to customize what the scene is going to be to fit that individual.
Hmm.
Once they tell me what they want to feel within it, I will go ahead and first I'll go ahead and see if I'm able to provide that sensation.
Hmm.
Then I'll go ahead and show the tools that I have in order to get that sensation to occur. We would then go through each of these items to see what they're comfortable with me using on them. And
How do you?
then we will go ahead and discuss safety. Like, what's your safe word? If you don't have one, these are the words that we can go for. I'll make sure to reiterate that if I hear, like, for example, red, we are stopping. I'm checking in. We're going to make sure that you're okay. And I even let them know use red even if you just simply want the scene to stop. Like, you don't have to wait until you're some kind of danger. If you just want the scene to stop, then use red. Once we get that, we go ahead and figure out positioning as well as what is the intended aftercare that they may need. And then once all that is agreed upon, we begin the scene.
Yay. Thank you.
No problem.
I just like, has anybody ever said red just because they're like, this is boring? That's enough.
No. No, I have received red because they didn't like the sensation after a while where they decided it's just not for them.
Mm-hmm.
But I've never really pushed someone to the point where they're just like, oh, red, red, red. Because I prefer a slow build. Because I want them, I don't. My goal is never to push someone to a red. I want them to enjoy the scene. I want them to leave the scene feeling refreshed.
I mean, of course. I feel like that's normal to hear and pick up plays since a lot of people are just trying something new. And it's like, yeah, I wanted to see how this felt and then realized I hated it. And then you can read and you don't have to feel bad. Like, you could definitely, the top should be open to talking about, like, maybe why that wasn't cool for you. Maybe they have something else to try.
Well, yeah, it's all
Um,
about balance.
and then, of course, like, it would be different in a longer play scenario with somebody you know or somebody you are familiar with.
Oh yeah, because those kind of scenes are a little bit different because you kind of knocked out a good portion of negotiating because you will kind of build a rapport, you kind of understand each other. So those scenes are actually a little bit quicker because you know exactly what it is that you're seeking. If anything, there might be a tweak or two that the person that's the bottom may give to the top, saying, "Hey, instead of this, I would like X, Y, and Z." And it's more of a quick adjustment. Like you already understand the safe words, you understand past injury history, and things of that nature.
Yes. Okay. Tell me about your favorite scene or just a really memorable scene.
I would have to say my favorite scene it was at this place formerly known as the WAP Lounge that closed down, I believe, not too long ago. Got there, we were just kicking it with friends, and like I just brought my floggers because why not? And one of my friends, she wanted to go ahead and get an impact scene done, and I am more than happy to oblige her. And so we go forward with the scene. And this was like my first time using Florentine flogging on a live booty. I primarily practice on like the edge of couches, on pillows, and then we negotiated and talked about. It's like, hey, I do want to go ahead and get to the go. She was like, thumbs up, go for it. And it was like practice make perfect because I was actually okay. It was like all hitting it all smooth and good and whatnot. And that was like it's like one of those proud moments where, because like even the day I figured out the Florentine pattern, I was excited as hell. Now I got to use that pattern on an actual booty. Like I was elated. Like this shit is dope.
Good for you. Your practice sounds like what girls do when they first get horny. Pillows and on the edge of couch.
What about you, Jamma Bean?
um, I think maybe my most recent memorable scene is when I really got into some knife play. Still have the marks to prove it. And the dom that did it I actually saw last month, and they were like, "Are these still the knife marks?" And they were so proud. And I get a thrill out of seeing the pleasure of other doms. Like that does things to me. But um, I go to parties and fishnets so people can take them off any way they like. And I happened to change it to fishnets about 3 times that night. But the last time was requested because somebody really wanted to co-tap with me, and every time I put on fishnets, they were busy. So I put these on for them, and I was sitting on like a massage table, and I was being co-tapped by 2 people with very sharp knives. Um, and knives are like they're sharp, but they're also ticklish. So like I'm very ticklish, and I would move, and then everything would stop, and they would like hold the knife like towards my neck and be like, "Stop moving." And I'd get like threatened a little bit, and it was just a really delicious time. Plus, to hear Dom's like tee hee and giggle while they cut fishnets off you,
Look,
that's
it's fun. It cuts like butter.
it's so funny. They actually cut. I had on some lingerie that I worn a couple times. So I was like, whatever, you can have it. It had like little flowers inside of the lace. They cut the flowers out of the lingerie and started passing them around to the other subs in the room. Yeah.
See, at some point we're gonna go to a video format, maybe, who knows? But the look on her face reminiscing from that knife scene is a joy.
It was a really good time. I enjoy knives. Definitely high on my list of favorite implements.
But yeah, but I mean, look, that's just a general rundown of a scene. Like, it's just one of the parts of the overall experience. Because again, we brought it up, we have vetting,
Hmm.
figuring out who this person is, what they're about. You have negotiations, talking with the same person into establishing what it is that you are trying to experience. The scene where part two is pretty much ran through to completion. And then, of course, after the scene, you have your aftercare. After aftercare, you have your check in.
Yeah. Love a good scene.
To more scenes in the future, especially in Butacana.
Cheers.
All right, we can go ahead and wrap up the episode there. So, Jam, anything you want to plug for the people?
Um, you know, no, I'm gonna chill. I actually have 1 month of chill time before I start another class and then right back into kink. So I think I'm going to take the path of my siblings and kind of chill for the next month. And I'll see everybody back in January, my busy work and all that.
Okay, so we'll be on the lookout for the Dula Jamina in 2024.
Yes, sir.
I would say, as for me, feel free to follow me on Instagram, sir.hedo, on Twitter at sir_Hedo. FetLife, I think it's just Sir Hedo. Again, as you can see, it's just Sir, it's Hedo. I'm pretty much everywhere at this point.
Well, that's good. That should be interesting. But also follow us on, our show Instagram. Big
Yep,
letter, little letter.
yep.
Hopefully, we'll be posting more content.
Of course, and be sure to, if you have any questions, comments, or you want to be a guest, you can email us at bigletterlittleletterpod@gmail.com. And I think that's where we'll go ahead and wrap up the show.
I love our questions.
All right, everybody, y'all be kinky and safe, and we will talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.